You cannot identify the remains, but in 4 days, Judai will take the throne. Before then, the body must have a name. It is the 13th of July, 1402, the 13th day of the 6th lunar month in Jianwen's 4th year. Jinchuan Gate opens. The Prince of Yan's army enters Nanjing, and the imperial palace catches fire. You are a eunuch envoy in the prince's service. For 4 years you have followed this army, carrying passwords, checking seals, and delivering the last messages of men who did not live to speak them. Today the order placed in your hands is only 1 sentence long. Enter the palace. Find the Jianwen Emperor. Bring him out alive, or prove that he is dead. History will not preserve your name. It will preserve only your function, a eunuch envoy. But at this moment, everyone is waiting for you to return. Nanjing may have fallen, but the war may not be over. If Zhu Yunwen is dead, the armies still watching beyond the city walls lose their emperor. If he is alive, even with nothing but a monk's robe and a fast horse, another man can raise a banner in the name of defending the rightful sovereign. So you cannot simply say you failed to find him. Not found is the most dangerous answer of all. Before you leave, the senior eunuch in charge hands you a folded sheet of paper. Only the date has been written. The 13th day of the 6th month, Jianwen Year 4. Everything below it is blank. He tells you that if you finish the assignment, you can remain in Nanjing. A new court will need men who understand palace rules. You have followed the Prince of Yan for years. This is the day you have been waiting for. No more sleeping outside army tents. No more marching wherever the war turns. You could have a room that does not leak, and a position that will not disappear when the army moves on. All you have to do is fill that page. Inside the palace gate, there is water, ash, and fallen timber. Soldiers pull apart blackened doors with wet cloth wrapped over their mouths. No one knows whether fire will burst from the beams again. Another man enters with you, a eunuch from the old palace. He once supervised the men who carried water through the compound. He knows which passage leads to the inner court and which side door is barred from within. The Yan soldiers caught him outside the fire and tied a rope around his wrists. Now he must guide you. He walks slowly, when you urge him forward. He says the smoke is too thick, and the paths are no longer where they used to be. You ask when he last saw the emperor. With his head lowered, he says that when panic swept the palace, he saw a group moving deeper inside. He could not tell whether the man at the front was the emperor. It is the first useless answer he gives you. You need the words "I saw him," not "I could not tell." The farther you go, the darker the water beneath your feet becomes. Collapsed rooms cut across the old routes. The walls remain, but the order that once lived inside them is gone. Soldiers carry remains from a burned chamber and cover them with a soaked mat. You do not let anyone uncover them for long. The fire has taken the face. It has also taken everything that might have made an identity certain. Summoner finds a cracked jade ornament between the bricks. The eunuch beside you immediately says it belonged to someone of high rank. You turn it over in your hand. The jade is scorched, and its cord is gone. It proves that important people once lived here. It does not prove which important person lies beneath the mat. Even so, the other eunuch urges you to place it beside the remains. Where an object is found can matter less than where someone decides to put it. The first time you return from the fire, the sheet still carries nothing but the date. The senior eunuch asks whether you found him. You say that you found remains, but you cannot verify whose they are. He looks at you without anger and pushes the paper back across the table. Then verify them again. You tell him the fire has left nothing anyone would dare identify. He raises his eyes toward the smoking palace. Someone has to dare. You think again of the old palace eunuch who carried water. He may be among the last people to have seen Zhu Yunwen. Put his name in the report, and the men above you can keep questioning him, what the emperor wore, who walked beside him, which hall he left, which passage he entered. There is always a sentence that can be questioned into the shape someone needs. But once you write down his name, he is no longer a guide. He becomes the only witness. You return inside the gate and find him under guard. This time, you ask directly, "Did you see the emperor die inside?" He shakes his head. "Did you see the emperor escape?" He shakes his head again. He says he saw only a crowd disappearing into the smoke. Then the roof came down. He was carrying water when he looked again. There was nothing left to see. He is telling the truth. That is precisely why no one has any use for it. That night you begin to write. The remains recovered from the fire could not be identified. You stop after the words could not. Outside, clerks are copying a proclamation. As you pass their table, you see that one sentence is already complete. The Jianwen ruler set fire to the palace and died in the flames. The report in your hand is unfinished. The answer beyond the palace wall is already complete. A 4-year war needs an ending. That ending cannot read perhaps, and it cannot read whereabouts unknown. The senior eunuch steps up behind you and takes the half-written page. He does not ask what you found in the fire. He asks what the old palace eunuch said. You answer that he saw nothing clearly. The senior eunuch writes the man's name on another sheet. It is a list of people waiting to be questioned again. Only then do you understand. The cost of failing to identify the dead will not fall on the dead. It will fall on every living person who might know where the emperor went. The gates, drains, abandoned wells, and collapsed passages will be searched again. The people of the old palace will keep being brought in. As long as the emperor is recorded as missing, every person without an answer can be treated as someone hiding one. The next day, you lead men into the fire ruins again. You turn fallen tiles, inspect burned cloth, and make the old eunuch trace the route once more. You even stop before a narrow doorway blocked by brick and ask whether it could lead outside the palace. Before the fire, he says, it could not. After the fire, he does not know. You order the men to move a few bricks. Then you order them to stop. You are afraid they will uncover a road. You are also afraid they will uncover nothing. As you prepare to leave, the old palace eunuch suddenly asks how much longer they will question him. You do not answer. You take out the list and let him see his own name. He stares at it for a long time, then says quietly that he truly did not see. You tell him that if the remains are confirmed as the Jianwen ruler, no one will need to keep searching for a living emperor. The rope has left red marks around his wrists. He does not beg you. He does not decide for you. He only repeats the same words. I did not see. On the 17th of June, the city begins preparing a new imperial procession. You are summoned to a writing table. 2 sheets lie before you. The first is your original report. It says that the remains could not be identified. The second already contains the conclusion. It is waiting for your confirmation. The senior eunuch tells you that if you choose the first, the palace search will continue, and the old eunuch will face more questions. If you choose the second, the remains can be buried, and the former palace staff can be treated as ordinary servants. He also reminds you that the roster of the new inner court is not yet complete. This is the position you have waited 4 years to receive. It is also the old eunuch's chance to stop being a witness and become a laborer again. The brazier stands beside the table. You pick up the first sheet. It still begins. The 13th day of the 6th month, Jianwen year 4. The ink is dry. The words could not be identified, leave no room for doubt. You place it in the fire. The paper curls inward from the edges. The date burns slowest and is the last thing to shrink into black ash. On the second sheet, you confirm that the remains recovered from the fire are those of the Jianwen ruler. Once the seal comes down, the rope is removed from the old eunuch's wrists. He is not free. He is simply sent to carry water and clear debris with the others. He passes you without offering thanks. You do not look at him. That same day, Judy enters through Zhengyang Gate and takes the throne. The new edict declares that the Jianwen ruler set fire to the palace and died in the flames. Then Jianwen year 4 is renamed Hongwu year 35. Public notices and regulations issued under Jianwen are ordered destroyed. Men carry away stacks of old paper, while others write the new date at the head of each document. You finally receive your place in Nanjing, only to discover that your first service to the new court was not identifying a body. You gave an uncertain pastor name the new court could use. 8 days later, the historical record says, the remains accepted as those of the emperor and empress are buried. You still do not know who lies inside the coffin. Later, people will say that Zhu Yunwen escaped through a tunnel, shaved his head, became a monk, and wandered far from Nanjing. Others will claim they saw him, sheltered him, or even that they were the missing emperor themselves. The stories travel farther and farther. None of them can return to the fire and identify the person beneath the mat for you. Stop it, Scribe. 6 centuries later, people are still searching for the Jianwen Emperor. No one can find the report you burned. It carried only 2 words: identity unknown.